What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 5 of the 2023 season fade with Steve Laura and Eddie Montanez. Let's just jump right into it, man. What do you think of this Eagles game this week, Steve?
I think it was great, dude. To be honest, man, we were there in the crowd. Obviously, it was a great fucking time, dude. Watching them just win in the Kelly Green. I think AJ went off. One thing I will say though about Miami is watching Tyreek in real life, man, is unreal. The speed that dude has is unreal. Watching him run in real life and just tear up double coverage is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. I don't know if you saw or not because we were sitting away from each other a little bit. Did you see him flopping like a fish when he caught the touchdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. But yeah, man, I think Miami, like even though they lost to Philly, people were just saying this about Philly last week when they lost to the Jets, calling them frauds, that they're not a contender. Philly's a good team, man, and I think Miami's a good team too. And for Miami to lose to Philly, I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. But most of their wins have came from teams that were under, so it doesn't really matter. But the Eagles' schedule gets harder and harder to come, man. But they did make a good trade in Kevin Byard. AJ Brown's obviously turned it up with 125 yards or more in the past 5 games. If he
Yeah.
does it again in Washington this week, he'll break the record that Calvin Johnson has. I honestly think he's going to get it. Um, he already tore Forbes up. I think he's going to do it again in this game. I also think Philly dominates Washington. I think the Miami game was kind of a statement. Say what you want about the refs. I really don't care, man. I watched AJ. I was there. I watched him get tugged. It didn't get called. So say what you want about Miami getting plays. I really don't give a shit. Um, but yeah, that's really all I have about that.
Ed.
I was saying the first 5 weeks when before the Eagles lost to the Jets, I told Luke I was saying the Eagles are contenders, but I got to see them play better teams. Like I don't think for the first 5 weeks they didn't play a contending team. They stepped the fuck up against Dolphins bad. The Dolphins obviously didn't have their two-star safety, Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard. I think that probably would have played a difference. But how he said AJ's proven himself this year. I was down on AJ this year, but I could say he's a top 3 to 5 receiver in the league now. He's torching everyone bad, like bad. Uh, I was telling Luke though, dude, I feel like that money's getting into Hurts' head. He's making a lot of dumb fucking mistakes this year. Like against the Jets, dude, that one pick that he threw to lose them the game was literally horrible. There was three people
Mm,
around one guy and he eyed it out the whole time. You can't be doing that.
It
But
was.
the next couple weeks, like I definitely saw this game as a statement, but they have a tough schedule. I saw that they have Buffalo, Denver, San Fran, Cowboys. I don't think that's in a row, but I know they play those four teams
They
and
play
so
the
yeah,
Cowboys
we,
twice within the next, I think, 7 weeks.
yeah,
yeah,
we
and then
played
they
the
play
Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, Seattle,
Yeah,
Giants.
that's rough, man. Like I was saying.
Yeah. So like the ending of our schedule is easy. Our last 3 games are Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
Yeah.
But we have at one point it goes Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, San Fran, Cowboys, Seattle.
And that's coming up right now. So that's what I mean. It's just getting harder and harder for us right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with Philly is this is all going to be a huge testament to them coming up when these next couple weeks is when you're actually banging out with contenders. The Miami game, even though that they're beating teams that are under 500, I mean everyone still has Miami still in their top five. They're playing NFL teams just like the rest of the NFL are. They threw 70 up. I don't care if it was against Denver. Miami's a legit team. You know what I mean? And like Eddie said, if when Ramsey comes back too, like that's a superstar right there that you have out there. AJ Brown definitely though is worth that money that he's getting. I was telling my brother about this. Is I'm just nervous about with all this stuff with AJ about where they go with Smitty, and I know we talk about this on a lot of pods, but um, a lot of people are in the comment sections saying, well, Houston would look good, really good on Smitty. There's all these teams that could go and put Devontae Smith at their number one. He's a terrific receiver. He's just a really valuable number two. It takes a lot of pressure off of AJ Brown. And I feel like that's why with AJ, like why he's really coming alive is because not just because of that. AJ's a very talented receiver. You know, you're not going and getting hundreds of millions of dollars when you didn't even play a snap with the team yet.
Yeah.
If you aren't a good receiver, if you aren't talented, and he's shown enough in Tennessee before he came here. But having a guy like Devontae Smith really helps out a lot. And shout out to Julio Jones, man. A lot of people are like making a dick out of him on TikTok, and we're like, here's the Julio Jones highlights. And it was Julio warming up and then his one catch that he had. Julio just got to the team. You know, he don't even know the system yet. But, I mean, you can expect his workload to increase as the weeks progress and he gets into the system a little bit more. But having an all-time great and a future Hall of Famer like Julio Jones really helps out. And like he said, he's not here to do anything else besides dominate. So we'll see what Julio. I think he's coming up on his last his last year. You know, I don't know if any team was willing to go and sign him if he don't really produce. That's what I got with that. And how the refs. It's an NFL game. Refs miss calls all the time. You know, they blew a call in the Super Bowl with James Bradbury on a hold, so that ultimately lost us the game. So, you know, but you got to just move on. That's the way it goes. People aren't perfect, and I mean, Miami had multiple calls that were missed as well. But we'll see Miami in the Super Bowl probably.
Yeah, man, I like how you said about how if they had Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, it really would have made a difference. I think it would have made a difference too. I'm not even going to bullshit about that. I truly do, because those are two top 10 corners right there. That you have Jalen Ramsey's top 3 when he's healthy. So yeah, that definitely would have made a difference. But I think this is what I think about Miami though, man. I think that they struggle a lot. Like their struggling reminds me of what Philly struggles with, because I think the main thing that they struggle with is play calling. Because sometimes when I'm watching Miami, I think that they try to force the ball to Tyreek Hill when they don't really have to. You know what I mean? Because they just think that he's going to be open all the time because he's so fast. But that's not always going to be the case. You know, he doesn't have to get.
But if you look at it, Steve, if you really go and look, their run team before, it wasn't just that. Like their running team was insane, and we held them to literally we held them to 45 yards rushing all game.
Yeah, but now it seems like with Achane out, now that Mostert's taking most of the workload, it seems like now that they are just trying to get that ball.
Air the ball out.
Jalen Waddle is almost as fast, not almost as fast as Tyreek Hill, but he's very well up there. He's one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. He's definitely top 3 fastest player in the league. I think he can create a lot of holes in that offense too, man. Why don't you try to force the ball to Waddle a little bit like you do to Tyreek Hill sometimes? You know what I mean? He can create speed. Devontae Smith creates a lot of holes too, man. He's fast as shit. That's really when you see the ball get thrown to Devontae is the deep ball, because he creates so much separation just on a straight fly route or a streak. But, yeah, I think Miami just struggles with play calling sometimes. I think Mike McDaniel's a good-ass coach. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But just sometimes I don't think you have to force the ball to Tyreek. He doesn't have to get 15, 16, 17 targets every single game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but when you have a guy like that, man.
I agree. I agree. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I know in the league, but I just think sometimes, man, like with all the talent that team has, just try something else, man. You know what I mean? Send Mostert on a wheel route. Try to open that up, because with Achane out, man, he's not going to be back for at least 2 more weeks. He's been out for 2 weeks already, I'm pretty sure.
Like for another like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even fantasy managers. I wouldn't even expect him to be healthy and having him in your lineup consistently until playoff starts. Not NFL playoffs, like fantasy playoffs. But yeah, that's all I really have about Miami. I think the play calling could just be a little bit better. But just because of the weapons that they have, man, I think that they can just create way more holes than just trying to force the ball to Tyreek all the time. Look what Jordan Addison does when Kirk gets the ball to him, when Justin Jefferson tears it up. We know what he does every game. You know what I mean? Look what Jordan Addison does.
Well, now Jordan Addison, I mean, after that San Fran game, he really stepped up in that.
Yeah,
Had a huge fucking game, man.
absolutely.
Like it goes and shows with like a guy like him, Zay Flowers, and then a guy like Quentin Johnston, for example. Mike Williams gets hurt, and Quentin Johnston has 4 catches for 60-some yards on the season.
Yeah.
Like although Baltimore has Rashad Bateman and an old Odell, I still am very highly on Odell. I'm watching a lot of tape on him that he's not really getting the ball on routes that he's open. It doesn't matter. Lamar's having an MVP caliber type season. His stats right now are way better. He won the MVP due to rushing when he won it back in 2020 or 19. When he won that on legitimately his legs. This MVP season, he's having a season just under Mahomes right now at almost the halfway mark. He's having a season just right under Mahomes, and he don't have the weapons like Mahomes does around him. He has Gus Edwards, Justice Hill as his running backs. Credit where it's due, he has Mark Andrews, but who would you take over, Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce? It's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, and Pat Mahomes has superstars too, like Rashee Rice. I mean, not superstars, but very good, valuable players, man. And just because Pat Mahomes is their quarterback, they really do get looked at as, oh, they're not good. We still need to trade for D-Hop. We need to go and make trades for these guys while they're on the block because we'd be producing more if we had them over Kadarius Toney or this and that. Like, I mean, having a real veteran number one would definitely help them. But at the same time, man, these guys are very young with Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Rashee Rice, Justin Ross. These guys are very young to where, you don't want to stunt their growth. Let them develop, man. Like, I get they're going to probably go in and the trade deadline. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City really goes and swoops a receiver up for low cost. But like I said, guys like Quentin Johnston, he's just not producing. Zay Flowers is producing, and Jordan Addison is showing now his development when they really need him. When Justin Jefferson went down there, like Eddie was saying, and a lot of other people, KJ would be the one to step up, and it's more looking like Jordan Addison saying, "Hey, I'm going to show you the reason that you guys drafted me."
It's looking like they're going to start splitting carries over there, man, with Akers and Madison too. Yeah. Akers had some explosive runs, man, in that game. I think when he stays healthy, he's a good running back. He's fast as shit. He's elusive. But going back to the Lamar thing, man, I think you're absolutely right about him. Lamar, man, has grown so much since he's won that MVP. He's a far better player than he was when he won that MVP. He's grown so much in the throwing game, man. Lamar Jackson is, besides like Patrick Mahomes and guys like that, when you think of a complete quarterback, Lamar is a complete quarterback now, man. He can run. He's arguably, or not arguably, he probably is, along with Justin Fields, the best running quarterback in the NFL. He's making great decisions now. He's making great throws. I think when you think of a quarterback that is complete, Lamar is one of them. It's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, guys like that. He's making great decisions. Like I said, he's making perfect throws. Zay Flowers, man, has really stepped up for him. He's only a rookie. He's going to just get better and better as they go. Mark Andrews is obviously one of the best tight ends in the league. Odell, man, I'm not going to say I've never really been high on Odell because I used to like him in New York and in Cleveland for a little bit, but now I just think he's washed. He's dealt with injuries. I don't think he's going to produce anything big for them. One person that I would like to see get traded to Baltimore, man, because I don't think he gets the attention that he needs in Tennessee right now, and I think that with this guy Spears getting a lot of targets out of the backfield, I just think it takes away from him, and you need to get this guy touches, man, from anywhere he's at, is Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry...
I thought you were talking about Spears going to Baltimore.
No, I think Derrick Henry, man, is going to get traded at this deadline, and I think Baltimore is a team that suits him, dude, because they're a contender right now. We just talked about how good Lamar's playing. Derrick Henry needs to be on a team that is a contender. He's going to go down as one of the best running backs of all time. We're witnessing him play. We're witnessing him dominate like us in our age. So I want to see him win a championship. I think Baltimore could win a championship. They have good coaching. They have good players all around Lamar right now. That team has grown as a whole, not just Lamar. That whole team has grown. Even the defense, man, like with guys like Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is playing really well this season too. Roquan Smith is arguably the best linebacker in the NFL right now. Harbaugh, dude, is a great coach. Like the Ravens have a lot of the tools, man, that to win a lot of games. They could go to
The
the
only
Super Bowl.
problem is with them is they either choke in the first round or they just missed the playoffs.
But that's
Which
the
I'm
thing,
pretty sure
man.
the last 2 seasons they missed the playoffs.
I don't
Lamar
think
gets hurt. Lamar gets hurt or he bitches. Like they can't.
Yeah.
They need him to play a full season and not have Tyler Huntley come in. If Lamar plays,
Because
a
they
full
still
season,
made it last season, right?
that's what I
And
was
Huntley
just gonna
played.
say. That's what I was just gonna say. They haven't had a satisfied Lamar, and now they have a satisfied Lamar.
who's
And look
ready
how
to
good
fucking
he's playing.
dominate. Yeah, he's
And
ready
look
to
how
dominate.
fucking good he's playing, dude. You know what I mean? This changes the whole game for
And
Baltimore.
dude, if you watch their games, bro, that line is absolute dog shit. If you were to
Yeah.
put him behind a good line, holy fuck,
Dude,
it's
you
over.
watch the fucking play. This guy makes a highlight every week.
He's about
Every
to get
week,
sacked,
Lamar,
and he
and
gets
running out of that
dude,
pocket. Yeah,
he threw a
dipping,
touch-
diving, jumping,
He
whatever.
threw a touchdown to Nelson Aguilar. He had 3 guys on his back, and he got out of like it was gross, bro. If that guy had a good line, dude, it would literally be raps. It'd be so gross.
I have him if I have him over Tua right now and over an MVP favorite.
I have him
Oh,
as
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I have Lamar as the
I
favorite
have
for
him like-
MVP. I don't. Yeah, he's playing phenomenal right now.
I have him as one just because I think, like I said, is he's having just a little under a Pat Mahomes type season. But when you look at it, dude, like it's Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes has the best like everything all around. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
And dude, I hate how
they're
the
gonna
NFL,
have to give it to
bro,
someone else.
Dude, I hate how the NFL just tries to make
Yeah.
it seem like the MVP has to go to Pat Mahomes every fucking year. Like it does not, bro.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
It doesn't,
Like,
man. Yeah, other players do other things well too. You
and
know?
I hate, and
Yeah,
I
exactly.
also hate how it's like considered a quarterback award. Like to be honest, if Tyreek Hill does get 2,000 yards this year, he needs to get that MVP award. I don't give a fuck if Mahomes goes
I
for
agree.
6,000 yards. Like
I agree.
getting 2,000 yards in a season is absolutely absurd. The guy's about to have 1,000 by week 9. That's fucking gross. That's literally gross.
And then to think, dude, like he doesn't. You look at Cooper Kupp, man, when he had his Triple Crown season. Cooper Kupp had so many more targets when he was at this milestone, man. Tyreek Hill, the amount of yards per, I think he averages, dude, like 17 and a half yards per catch. Like that's a lot of fucking yards, dude, to average a catch.
Yeah, no, and I thought in the beginning that you'd see like, all right, Christian McCaffrey having the season that he broke the record for the most consecutive games with a touchdown, 16, I think. Like this guy is in the end zone. It is undoubtable that he gets in that fucking end zone. And Lori, before you sent me that thing, I was showing my brother that if you would have started with $100 and went and bet every time since McCaffrey started this touchdown, that you would have had $480,000.
Yeah, that's insane.
You know, like, but first and foremost, if you have any betting issues or gambling issues, please call the gambling hotline. But yeah, we're not promoting gambling or whatnot. But no, seriously, like Christian McCaffrey is a dog. Like you go and honestly, man, the next time just go and throw like a rack and just say, hey, even if I win $500 off this rack, he's getting in that end zone. You know what I mean?
Until he fucking breaks his leg and then he doesn't score, and then you're
well, that'd be my luck that something like that would come about. That he'd end up fucking snapping his leg.
Me too, man. Another quarterback I want to talk about, man, since we were just talking about Lamar, dude, what the fuck is going on with Joe Burrow? He's only had one game, dude, over 300 yards since he's been the highest paid player in the league. He was injured, dude, in the beginning of the season. I know that he was injured for a couple of the weeks, but now, dude, we're going into week 8. What the fuck is going on with Joe Burrow, bud?
I still think he's dealing with something.
Like,
yeah,
dude,
he always says he's feeling better, but there's no way he is.
yeah, man. That's what
because
I mean.
they didn't let him go and take a week or two off. You know what I mean? Like he didn't take any time off, and this is just where it's gonna stunt him, man. Like he's gonna end up just hurting himself. But I mean, maybe if nothing is wrong, maybe that, like Eddie was saying, that money gets to people's heads. And I mean, I think what Burrow, like Dylan was saying about him, he's just arrogant, man. Like he just has this like way that he goes about himself that he's like, I don't know. I just think
I
he's
know what you mean. He
cocky too.
needs to be this flashy.
Yeah.
I know. I like Joe
Yeah.
Burrow too, but I know what you mean.
No, like I like Joe Shiesty, man. I root for him, dude. In the when it comes to like the postseason and shit like that, but I just don't like the smug remarks, shit like that. Like I don't know, but like I just hate how like all these people are getting the money and stuff like that, and like that's how I wanted to bring up about like Deshaun Watson. Like the guy cleared concussion protocol, and he still was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling up to it." And like the week before that, man, he was cleared too. His shoulder or something got cleared. And he was sitting out there working before the game. He's like, not feeling right. Dude, they're doing better with PJ Walker out there. PJ Walker's leading them to wins.
Pocket, dude. That's why he's doing it.
But it's weird because he was suited up still on the sidelines. And Stefanski was like, they're like, why ain't he playing if he's cleared? And Stefanski's like, I'm not going to risk my franchise quarterback. You're not going to risk him. Then what's he suited up for on the sideline still? You know what I mean? Like, go get the guy off the practice squad to come in and tell Deshaun, dude, to go and get a massage somewhere. Because, dude, this guy, man, is a $230 million for after 2 seasons of him not doing anything besides getting rubbing tugs, man. Like, he's a trust fund baby. He's a trust fund baby that knows that he has $230 million, whether he sits on a couch or not, or whether he gets his body all oiled up and rubbed. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Giving that dude that guaranteed money, man, was a mistake. Who would do that, man? After the allegations and everything that was going on,
dumbass.
Right after it, dude, you give him all that money guaranteed.
Yeah, they go and push Baker Mayfield, dude, who took them to the playoffs for the first time in 50-some years.
Instead of paying him.
He was sitting there playing hurt.
Like, he just took – I think Baker's only making $25 million this year.
Yeah, he's not making that much more than some people, dude. But
yeah, man. That's going to go down as one of the biggest mistakes in NFL history.
And they gave up a bunch of draft capital, too, for him, man. They gave up like 3 first rounds
for Deshaun Watson, man.
Yeah.
The Texans are going to be good in a couple years. They're already pretty decent right now, but the Texans are going to be good, man. And within the next 2 years, they're going to be a stacked-up team because of everything they got from Cleveland for Deshaun Watson. And now look at their situation. They're giving this dude all this fucking guaranteed money, this fucking clown. And they have PJ Walker, dude, who steps up from the XFL, out playing.
Yeah, PJ Walker just lost his job to Tyson Bagent.
Like, yeah, dude.
Like
PJ Walker, outplayed, bro, by an XFL player.
Yeah.
Like,
who's making, dude? And PJ Walker's probably only making like $900K.
He's probably on a Purdy contract, dude, something like that. Yeah. He's probably on a fucking.
He's not making more than like 2 or 3 mil.
Yeah, he probably makes.
So Dorian Thompson starting on Sunday.
They're better off, dude. They're better off.
Yeah, DTR. I mean, DTR shit the bed.
UCLA, right?
What's up?
He's the kid from UCLA. Yeah, I liked watching him in college, man. He might be all right for them, dude.
It's like here's my thing is about with giving people money. Like, all right, so how we just said about Deshaun Watson. Dude, we talked about this last week, but dude, Tyrod Taylor should be the starting quarterback here on out in New York. Like,
Daniel Jones is a fucking bum. It pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah,
he's a bum. He's a literal dumbass. He's a literal idiot.
Yeah, he sucks, dude.
He's a dumbass.
He has no swag. He has no swagger to him. Like on the sidelines,
I'd rather Mike Glennon.
I love talk to his teammates and Mike Glennon, dude. Long neck Glennon.
I'd rather him. I would rather Mike Glennon.
I love, dude, when all the pressure's on Daniel Jones, yo, and the camera just cuts to his face and his helmet's fucking sideways. He has a dumbass look on his face, dude. His fucking chin strap's not even on his chin. Like, he
Dude,
don't
there
know
is one. The
enough.
only one bright spot is, dude. I will tell you this: Deontay Banks is a fucking freak. He's a lockdown motherfucker, dude. He's a beast. I
Well,
love that.
The Giants have a decent amount of good players.
They have a good defense, bro.
Yeah.
The
Thibodeau's
offense
good.
is just dick. The offense is dick. Dude,
I
we
think
should have won that
Thibodeau's a
Bills.
beast.
If Tyrod Taylor would have spiked that ball against the Bills, bro, we either would have won or went to OT for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought that was dumb play calling, dude. Down at the end, then too. How they're on the 1 yard line. You're on the 1 yard line, dude. I don't care.
Ball,
or give Saquon that fucking ball.
They
man.
did. They did give Saquon the ball, but they didn't like develop the play. They just didn't they just let it. Like
No, they tossed it against the Bills, dude. They threw it to Darren Waller in the back of the end zone.
No, they handed it off to Saquon.
I swear to God.
Dude,
Watch,
I saw them handed it off to Saquon.
I'm telling you, dude.
Dude, they threw it to Darren Waller to end the game, and that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking of. They threw it to Darren Waller
to end the game. Yeah.
They handed it off to Saquon.
I thought that was a holding call.
Yeah, that was the play. That was the play you're talking about. I remember to go into halftime, they handed it off to Saquon. He gets stuffed, and the fucking clock is running.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you definitely do there's a swagger with Tyrod Taylor, and I know he's a little up there in age, but there's a swagger to him, man, that he can go and lead to get a win, man. And I don't think that people are really behind Daniel Jones.
He's gonna get that.
I like Tyrod, man, and I like him in New York too. I used to have a fucking Tyrod Taylor Buffalo jersey.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
I did, bro. I might still have it. Small, bro, from like 6th grade. Yeah.
What size is it?
Bro, it might be your size.
All right, yeah. Let me know.
No, I'm fucking with you. No, but I probably do have it somewhere.
That's crazy. Yeah, I like Tyrod Taylor, man. He led the Bills to their first playoff appearance.
I was talking to Mike, bro. He would be nice as fuck on Las Vegas, dude. I feel like if he was the quarterback with Devontae and Myers, bro, they'd be fucking
Giants
nice.
Stupid,
not nice,
so
but they'd be like,
yeah, better than what they are, man.
Yeah.
Jimmy G sucks.
is a fucking idiot, bro. He's a bot.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you're just wasting Devontae Adams' career there. That just goes down to show.
Yeah, I don't think they're wasting it though, dude. Because you got to also we're giving Jimmy G a lot of shit, but he also has the greatest completion percentage in the NFL. What he does is just get the ball off quick and gets his quick passes. But Devontae did come out and just say, because I just like how I told you this is the reason I traded for him in fantasy. He just came out and said that he wants the ball more. And he didn't come here to win. He came there to win, obviously. But he knows that if he gets the ball in his hands, they're not going to be winning by fucking 3-7 points. They will win by a larger margin than they are winning. Which I agree. I think Devontae Adams is a top 3 receiver in the NFL. The guy's a literal fucking unit. So I don't know why they're not giving Jacoby Myers. Don't get me wrong, is a stud. He's a fucking beast. But when you have Devontae Adams and you traded for him for a reason, for him to be a game changer, a playmaker, for him to win you guys games, you got to give him the ball. It's just the same thing with the Vikings. How I was telling you, they needed these wins bad in order for Jefferson to play again. And obviously, how you said and Lori said, Addison's going to be the guy there. I thought KJ would be the guy there since he knew the offense so much, but Addison's going to be the guy there. But obviously, when Jettis comes back, he's going to be getting his 150 yards a game, and Addison's going to get his two targets for one catch, a touchdown, and 70 yards.
And then it's going to be a Diggs Thielen scenario in Minnesota again.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking a couple years ago.
But what about Thielen, dude? He's been ripping, bro.
Well, that's the thing is they're looking to go and get a number 1 receiver because they know it's no disrespect. They're saying it's no disrespect to Adam Thielen, but
you need to get Bryce Young, a young receiver. And don't Mingo is good. Mingo is a good. He's better than fucking Quentin Johnson, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fucking Mingo's good, but when you have a young, when you traded all these picks, and all these. You traded so much draft compensation over the next 2-3 years, and you picked Bryce Young, who I thought it should have been Stroud or Richardson, but you pick Bryce Young, and you expect he has been doing very well with Thielen, but
Yeah.
Thielen's not going to be there for fucking 2-3 more years. You
So
need
much
him.
better, yeah.
You need to get him. You need to get him someone he's gonna grow a connection with, and fucking develop with. So that's why.
Like Stroud has with Tank Dell
Tank
and
Dell,
Nico
Nico Collins.
Collins.
Like that's why I was saying how you were saying. I was gonna say like if Devontae Smith were to go to Texans, bro, they would be fucking gross if they had Devontae Smith, Tank Dell, and Nico. Because Tank Dell as the wide receiver 3, bro, would still be disgusting.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If Devontae goes anywhere, dude, I think it ends up being like Denver or something, man, in a package for like Pat Surtain. Because I've been seeing on Facebook a lot that the Eagles have been calling up Denver trying to get Surtain.
I don't think we trade away Smith. I think it becomes a free agent issue with
I
him
hope
one
not,
season.
dude. I really fucking like Smitty.
But I'm reading a lot about like guys like Marquise Brown being on a trade block. Like I'm surprised because they just got him a year ago. And from Baltimore, and I didn't expect Arizona to go this heavy in a rebuild mode, especially when Kyler's supposed to be coming back. Like, what the fuck, man? And you just screw Kyler over, man. Like, he comes back and has no one to throw to.
Also,
Yeah,
this is what I was thinking with the fucking Cardinals, dude. They obviously Caleb Williams don't want to play there, bro. I feel like if they could get it, obviously they're gonna get a top fucking 5 pick. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
If somehow they could get Marvin Harrison to go along with Kyler Murray, that might be fucking gross.
Oh yeah.
That might be gross. I feel like they're gonna keep Kyler and then just end up drafting Harrison because they're gonna need a receiver. Like I don't think Marquise Brown. Don't get me wrong, is a good receiver, but I look at him as a wide receiver too. I don't see him as a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
My thing is with Caleb Williams is I understand that he's like well, I mean I don't think he's winning a Heisman this year. I don't think he's going back to back.
I think he's playing back. I swear to God, I think he's back. I think he's playing
on
back
purpose. Yeah.
There's no way
Just
you're going.
draft
There's
stock
no
goes
way
down.
you're throwing 6 tutties, 7 tutties, rushing for 2 a game, and then you're playing fucking Stanford and Utah and playing like shit. Like fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
For real.
Yeah,
And I'm reading a conspiracy about that, dude. Like that they're really thinking that he's going and tanking. So then teams are like, oh well, look at him, he's playing like dog shit. Let's stay away from him. But I mean, dude, like I was showing Lori this guy is literally sitting there making demands, man, saying, oh well, whatever team drafts me, I want part stake and ownership. Like, who are you? Who are you to go and
we talked
say
about that on the last pod.
You know, and that's another reason like why Tom Brady, he got rescinded too, because he tried being like a Raiders owner. So he had to retire before he even got a stake.
Yeah, he's an idiot, dude. If he thinks he's just going to get drafted and get a stake in any team.
And the thing is, too, dude, it's like you're a fucking college quarterback. You know how many college quarterbacks were fucking gods? Johnny Manziel was a god. Was a
He
little.
needs to appreciate the position that he's in right now, dude. Like I said on the last pod, he needs to appreciate that he has the talent.
I'm fucking thinking you're the greatest,
be
bro.
A number one pick, arguably the best fucking prospect to ever come out of college. You know what I mean? And he needs to appreciate that.
Teams don't like that media shit. Teams do not like that.
No, and see, that's what I think about like Shedeur Sanders right now is like
going like this and fucking doing that.
I don't think. I think Shedeur will be like a third, like a third. Like I think he'll be like a second, third rounder.
I think he goes in the second round, just like Jalen Hurts did. That's who he reminds me of in college, kind of, bro. Is Jalen Hurts.
I mean, dude, like he's sitting courtside. He's sitting courtside at the Lakers game, man. Like, dude, thinking he's he is, dude, a celeb.
Oh, Shedeur. Well, yeah, he's Deion's son. Even if he didn't fucking play football, they'd
do sleep. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's sitting courtside, dude, and talking to LeBron and shit. Like, he has all the talent, but dude, that's just a team with Colorado. Expectations were high, but people are out there, dude, to really put a fucking beat down on them. Like all this talk that they do, man, to go and barely beat teams that are unranked, like it can't be happening.
Even if Colorado finishes under 500, dude, the shit, Dion still changed college football. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even if he like college football, like this Colorado was fucking 1-what? Like they had one win last year. I know that they were like probably 1-11, 1-12. He's getting a bunch of dude. He is signing the best prospects in the country. I think like
Yeah.
4 to 5 stars have signed there already in the past month. Like Colorado is going to be a fucking problem.
Yeah, people
Like
are
and
saying that they don't want to play for
Mhm.
Alabama. They want to
Yeah.
play for Prime.
yeah,
And dude,
was
and
just
I see a lot of people are like, oh, when his son goes to the NFL, he's gonna want a job there. Like he's not gonna care about anything. Dude, Dion lives football. Dion breathes, like he eats, breathes, sleeps football. He's not just gonna not give a shit about Colorado just because Shador's in the NFL now. Like the
Yeah.
guys, I think Colorado next year, in the next 2 years, 3 years, is gonna be better than the team they have now.
Yeah,
Like they're gonna
they
be
are.
fucking pros.
They are for sure, dude. That's the thing about it is that even like when you have guys like you just said, like Dion, that knows the game in and out. I don't give a fuck who you are, bud. You're not gonna come onto a college team,
Yeah,
a Pac-12 team, and fucking come around, dude, and turn the entire team
yeah,
around
and
and
don't
win a
go
national
undefeated. Like
championship in a
fuck
year.
yeah.
It don't happen. It don't. And like you said,
Unless
dude,
you
they're
got
gonna
every, unless you got every chance, unless you got every fucking every person to transfer there, that's a
yeah,
god. That's the
exactly.
only
Yeah.
way you're doing it.
Exactly. And like you
Yeah.
just said, dude, if you don't think that Deion Sanders turned that fucking school around, you are an absolute idiot.
Yeah, absolute dumbass.
Because he is gonna that school, dude, in the next 2-3 years is gonna be the biggest recruiting school probably of all time. The amount of people that are gonna want to go to Colorado and play football is gonna be insane. It's gonna be like
He got holy
nothing any
fuck.
school has ever seen before. Besides, it's gonna be bigger than like people wanting to come and play for Ohio State, dude. I'm telling you right now, people are going to want to play for Deion Sanders.
Travis Hunter was literally the number one ranked player in high school his year, and
And he was for a long
he
ass
went
time.
to an HBCU fucking school as the number one ranked player in the fucking country. He went to an
Dude, he was the
HBCU
number one
school.
ranked player in the country as like a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And Dion got him to
Sanders.
go to Jackson State.
Yeah, dude.
He
And he followed him right
developed
to
everyone
Colorado.
at Jackson. Dude, that whole Colorado's team is basically the Jackson State team.
Yeah,
With
literally.
just
I mean, Alabama, even that's what Dion was saying. There was teams out there that was offering Travis Hunter millions of dollars to go there, and he was like, he still signed with Dion.
But that's why I like Travis Hunter so much, is because he's about that legacy. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He'd rather go to Colorado and get coached and mentored by Deion Sanders.
yeah, he'd rather
And just
learn.
that's loyalty too. That's
Yeah,
loyalty. He
exactly.
said he
And
knows.
make a couple million before he goes.
Yeah,
To
he
the
knows that Dion really cares about his kids, dude, his
Yeah.
players, and unlike like these other coaches who are like Nick Saban. I'm sure Nick Saban cares and stuff like that, but like a lot of them are out to win. Oh, we're bringing you here to win national championships. Like, I mean, that's the goal ultimately, is to go and win a national title. But I mean, Dion really goes and shows love to these kids, man.
And you have to think of like all the good ass coaches that are in college football right now too, like how you just said, man, and Harbaugh and Lincoln Riley, and now Deion Sanders, dude, is up at the top of the chain with all these guys, man, like Saban and Lincoln Riley and Harbaugh and all these guys. In his first year coaching a Pac-12 team, he is one of the best college coaches in football. So if you don't think that Deion turned that team around, dude, if you're just one of them people that thinks because they're losing that they're a bad team, they're not. That school is absolutely going to be turned around within the next 2 years, and it already has been turned around, because that nobody knew who the fuck Colorado was, dude, last year before they got
Yeah,
Sanders.
no one gave a rat's
Like
ass
you
about
just said,
them.
dude, what was their record? 1 and what?
Like 1-12.
1-11.
Yeah, bro. Like if you were playing for that football team, you weren't meeting any chicks, bro. Like you are now playing for Deion Sanders, bud. Like you know what I mean? Them kids are
Yeah.
probably crushing.
Chicks, bro.
I'm for real.
But going off that, I wanted to just give a shout out, dude, to Tyson Badgett, man, and a true underdog story. He's a zero recruit out of high school. He just started this week for the Chicago Bears. He's a 0-star recruit out of high school, attended a D2 Shepherd University, set the NCAA all-time pass record for tutties with 159. And he met the Bears head OC at the Senior Bowl, and He beat PJ Walker out for the backup job, and now look at him, man. So it goes to really show a lot. And shout out to his dad, man. His dad is
arm wrestler.
a 28-time world arm wrestling champion. Yeah.
The guy's massive, bro. The guy's arms are literally fucking huge.
Dude, I saw a picture of his dad. I was like, what the fuck does he do?
I fucked with how Tyson got the crowd going, doing the
That's
moans.
crazy, yo. I was just thinking that earlier when I saw a picture of his dad. That's funny as shit that he's an arm wrestler.
Yeah, dude, he was sitting there, man. 28-time world champion.
Holy
crazy.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, expect that kid to have a rocket for an arm in about 2-3 years time. Jesus,
dude.
Christ.
And I think there's just like a bunch of, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on. I think there's just a bunch of like weird shit going around the NFL about like this crowd, this lady in the crowd, man. Like how they think she's a plant, an industry plant to like. So then when they can get a camera shot, they see like, dude, she's doing all this extra stuff, man. Like looking like it's like like going like this, dude. Doing this, man, in the crowd, and it's like
you just hit the lottery, bro.
Like it's like, dude, you can see a generic. It's like a generic reaction.
That's what Luke was doing at the Eagles game, dude. Going,
yeah, right. Yeah, right. But like, what do you guys think? Like, do you think that's like an industry plan or like what?
Yeah, dude.
You know what I saw though that I was reading? I told you this earlier, Luke. I didn't tell Eddie though. I was reading that. What was the other team that she was cheering for? The Vikings, was it?
The Vikings.
I was reading that. I think it was that her son plays for the Vikings and that she's a Chargers fan, or it was vice versa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's like some kind of scam like that.
Who's her son?
I don't know. It's like some kind of. It's like some no name that plays for the Vikings, or it might be vice versa. I might have it confused.
Maybe,
but I was reading that her son plays in the NFL, and that's why she was at the other game cheering. But who knows? Fuck her. If it's some sort of scam, then get her off the field. But yeah, dude, it's just weird to think like that the NFL could even do something like that. All right, guys, sorry we kind of dealt with a lag there for a minute. I don't really know what happened, but let's get off that subject, man, and talk about a real subject. Enough talk about that lady. Let's talk about 2 trades we would like to see, man, before the deadline, because we're not going to record again before the deadline, so we might as well get this off our chest while we have the time. 2 trades that I definitely want to see happen is either Chase Young or Jonathan Allen come off of the Commanders, because Jonathan Allen has been openly upset being on the Commanders for the past 7 years and being on a losing team. But even though he just got a long-term contract, I can kind of see them trading Jonathan Allen. If they don't trade Allen, I don't see them trading De'Aaron Payne, but if they don't trade Jonathan Allen, I definitely see them trading Chase Young, because he's going to be another player that's going to demand a ton of money, and you don't want to take like guys like Terry McLaurin and Brian Johnson away from Sam Howell or whatever quarterback they're going to bring in the near future, because Washington's one of those teams that is going to have to go into a full-on rebuild soon here. So I definitely see Chase Young or Jonathan Allen being traded. And another one that I would like to see traded is Jerry Jeudy coming out of Denver, because Denver's basically in the same situation as the Commanders. Like I just said, they need to go into a full-on rebuild. And Jerry Jeudy, in my opinion, is probably the most likely to come off Denver's roster. And if they're smart about a trade, man, that they can hit before this deadline, they can get some decent capital there for Jerry Jeudy. He was just a first-round pick. He would have went higher, honestly, if he didn't deal with what he had a hip injury, I think, in college. He was one of the best Alabama wide receivers of all time coming into the draft. He just dealt with injury when he was getting drafted. So there's still capital involved with him, man. I think he has one of the best footworks in the entire game and throughout the league. When he's healthy, I think he can be a phenomenal receiver. And a team that I would like to see him go to is definitely Kansas City. I think if he can stay healthy, like I said about his footwork, that dude could dominate with somebody like Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball to him behind center, especially with all the attraction that Travis Kelce attracts in the offense. It's just, I think that would be a great landing spot for Jerry Jeudy and somewhere that he could really make a name for himself in this league, because he really is a good receiver, man. He has one of the best footworks in the league, and route running too, to be honest with you. He just needs to stay healthy.
I think with my trades, so I put Hunter Renfro. I'd like to see him get traded. I was never a big Renfro fan, but I mean he was a fantasy dog, 1,000-yard receiver. The last two seasons he hasn't really been. He dealt with injury last year, and now this season he's just really not getting targeted at all. I'd like to see Hunter Renfro get traded out of Vegas, and I think that's a big possibility, knowing that they're in a full rebuild mode. We're basically going on a full rebuild mode. I don't know if there's no way that they trade Devontae Adams. That's just very unlikely. They were even saying that. Also, with the Raiders, I can see Josh Jacobs possibly getting traded and then moving on from him. He's on the last year of his deal. He was, I'm pretty sure he was franchise tag. So, yeah, I could see him wanting to get some money and them not going and giving him a contract. And then my other one, I have Dalvin Cook. I feel that's a huge possibility of him getting traded out of New York. Basically, they just picked him up for an insurance policy if Breece Hall wasn't back to 100%. They didn't expect him to. And Dalvin Cook just doesn't fit what they're doing right now. He's averaging the lowest amount of yards in the league on a minimum of 50 carries. He's averaging like 2.3 yards a carry, which is not Dalvin Cook. A typical Dalvin Cook performance. My prediction where Dalvin Cook gets traded to is he's going to end up back in Minnesota. They know that they can make a playoff run. Even though they did just trade for Cam Akers, I would not be surprised to see them go and give some trade capital up and maybe like Danielle Hunter or something like that, because they're talking about getting rid of Danielle Hunter. Or Harrison Smith is possibly going to Dallas. I can see that happening. But yeah, those are my trades that I could see happening. Ed.
I could see Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans getting traded. I saw that everyone's they're ready to shop everyone. They suck. So I think the Browns have a good chance of probably getting Jeffrey Simmons. The Darius Smith's always beat the fuck up. He's very good, but the guy's always injured throughout half the year. So I feel like if the Browns were to make a trade and go out and were to get someone, I think Jeffrey Simmons would be a fucking great person to add, especially since they would have Myles Garrett on one side and then Simmons on the other. I see Hopkins getting traded too, like he said, to the Chiefs. A lot of teams need a wide receiver. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised. I don't think there's a long shot of this happening, but if DeAndre wanted to, bro, he could go back to Houston and make Stroud a fucking freak. Like, if he and Stroud got that connection, they'd be really good, I feel. And especially, or even how he said with Kansas City, like, you have Rashee Rice, who they're starting to trust a lot. And with Kelsey, if you put he's taken not a lot of targets away from Kelsey. We knew Kelsey would still get his, but Rashee Rice is turning into that one safety valve that Mahomes is actually starting to trust. And I feel like if they could get Hopkins, to have them two and have a young stud receiver like Rashee Rice learn from one of this generation's best receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, in the next coming years, it's not. They're not going to keep DeAndre Hopkins for 2-3 years. The guy's getting up there in age, but for Rashee Rice to get mentored by a guy like DeAndre Hopkins could help not only the Chiefs win in the future, but could help Rashee Rice development so much.
I like that take, actually. That's a good
And
take.
there's also this isn't a trade, but I see that Leonard Fournette's going to sign somewhere next week, and I could see him signing with the Browns.
I saw pick him up in fantasy.
Fournette, I could see him signing with the Browns or like maybe even the fucking Cowboys to get them a bowl back.
Keep James Robinson in mind too, man. He's a free agent yet.
Who?
James Robinson.
Yeah, people disrespect him, man. He was good. He was so good in Jacksonville. Then he tore his ACL.
Yeah, and then they just had They just have ETN, dude. And then the same thing when he went to the Jets, they had Breece Hall. So it's just a mismatch for him there. But
yeah, there's still a lot of free agents out there, man. That I mean, like a guy like Jarvis Landry could really go and maybe not bolster a team. But, I mean, he can definitely go in there and provide veteran help. I mean, that's what kind of Randall Cobb's doing. The reason I don't see, like, the Chiefs really going and trading for anyone. And this is just my take on it: is they just got McCole Hardman back from the Jets. They just traded him and got him back. So I think like with McCole Hardman, that they're like, oh, this guy already knows our system. His contract, does have a little bit of a contract because the Jets signed him. So the Chiefs are paying him like $6 million from that contract anyway. So I don't really see the Chiefs going and getting a receiver. Especially an older veteran, because the Chiefs know flat out that they can go and win games and dominate teams and also win a Super Bowl. Like last year, who was their number one? Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Juju Smith, and they ended up going and winning a Super Bowl. So I don't think they're really looking into we need to go and get this guy and that guy. They're very hot. They're very high on Justin Ross in training camp. They're not really using him as much, but
he just got in trouble.
Who?
Justin Ross. He just got in trouble. Didn't he just get arrested?
No, I seen Chris Olave got arrested.
I was reading on that. What is it called? JPG football or something that we always see on Instagram. I was reading something about Justin Ross that he just got in trouble too.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I could also see like Kansas City, if like how I was saying about Jerry Jeudy, if they have the opportunity, man, to give up trade a third rounder and maybe a late round pick for Jerry Jeudy, I think Kansas City does that. Because then they're already a serious Super Bowl contender. They add somebody like that, man, to the roster, especially on the offense.
What I was reading is Denver's ready to let go of both Jeudy and Sutton, and they might just go and trade them both as a package deal. In all honesty, that they might, whoever wants them, they can get both. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jerry Jeudy land in Indianapolis with Michael Pittman.
Or Green Bay. Adds another weapon for Jordan Love, man. Or even Carolina, man, because Jordan Love.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina's going to go and shoot for the stars to go and get someone. But I can really see the Indianapolis Colts, because what I was hearing is that Indianapolis has called and reached out to Denver about the availability of Jerry Jeudy and Sutton both.
No, I could actually see that too, man. I like that.
Or even the Giants. I could see the Giants going after a receiver. Their playoff hopes aren't crushed yet, and I can really see them going and getting a young receiver, but they know that the last time that they picked up a star receiver,
overpaid,
kind of shit the bed.
Exactly. Way overpaid him. He's a fucking bum, dude.
But going off that, do you want to do these stardom and sit-ems?
Yeah.
All right. Who do you guys got?
So for my two stardoms, I'm gonna put Kendrick Bourne and I'm gonna put Kareem Hunt. Over the last 2 weeks, man, they've both put up, I think, over 15, both of them. So and they're pretty heavily involved in the offense. Kendrick Bourne gets his targets and Kareem Hunt is starting to get more touches as the weeks go. So I think they're both starting to earn enough to at least be a flex spot in deeper leagues. So I'll pick those two to start if you're in a deeper league and or if you don't really have that well of an option. See if Kendrick Bourne's on waivers, or see if you can kind of make a low ball trade for Kareem Hunt, because I think both of those guys will give you 15 plus, depending on who the Patriots play. But I think Kareem Hunt is almost a lock for 15 plus going forward.
Yeah, and Jerome Ford, he's out for the next week, 2 weeks. So, for my start, I got Breece Hall versus the Giants. He's off a snap count now. And since he's been off a snap count, he's been averaging 24.4. He had a 20-plus game against Philly, and no team has even reached 15. No running back has reached 15 against Philly. And the Giants allowed the second most rush yards and third most rush TDs to running backs. And my other start, I have Rashid Rice. He had last week 17 points, 60 yards, and a tutty. He played the third most snaps last week, and the second most, third most snaps, and he ran the second most routes behind Travis Kelce. He scored 11 or more in 3 straight, and Denver has been allowing the most passing yards since.
Ed?
Mine, I got Kincaid for the Bills, Dawson Knox is going to be out for at least 4 weeks, and Kincaid. Last week he had 8 targets, 8 receptions for 75 yards and 15.5 fantasy points. So I think with Dawson Knox out, Josh Allen loved Dawson Knox before. I think Diggs. I think not only Diggs is gonna also he's gonna get a lot more he's getting like 13 targets a game, but Allen loved Knox when he was in. So now I see Diggs getting about like 18, and I see Kincaid averaging around like 7 or 8 every game that Knox is out. So I see him being a good tight end. I'll be starting him at tight end this week. And another one, my next one is Josh Palmer. Since every week that Mike Williams been out, including last year and this year, he's gotten 70 yards in every game with at least 7 to 8 targets. And we saw last week Keenan Allen was held to around 52 yards, and on only 5 catches, Josh Palmer had 133. Yeah, he had one long catch. One long catch after run, but the other catches were like 25 to like 12 to like 25 yards catches. And then with my sits, I got Damian Pierce, Devin Singletary's cutting into his work. And then I also got KJ Osborne against the Packers. I thought KJ Osborne would be getting his, but it looks like Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson are going to be getting most of the work, so I wouldn't trust KJ Osborne from now on.
Yeah, so for my sit-ems, man, I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley because it's starting to look like, to me at least, that Christian Kirk is the clear number 1 in Jacksonville. I was really high on Calvin Ridley, man, in the beginning of the season because I watched his snap stories and I was watching him train all summer, and he looked really good. But now it's starting to get a little deeper into the season, and he's just not producing enough for me. The past 2 weeks, he hasn't done anything at all. I think this past week he only had 1 point for me. So I'm definitely sitting his ass. Like I said, Christian Kirk is the clear number 1. He gets a ton of targets, and he also gets a ton of catches and produces a ton of yards. Not a ton of yards, but a good amount. And for my other sit-em, I'm going to put Detroit's defense because I started them, man. They had me in the negatives. So I lost points.
-7.
Yeah. I played you, I think, or I played Harv. Yeah, they had me -7, man. So I'm going to go ahead and sit them this week, and I'm probably going to try to just snipe a defense off waivers that's playing a shitty team.
For my sit-ems, I have Najee Harris versus the Jags. He had 15.8 last week, but he needed a tutty to even reach double digits. Jags allowed the 4th fewest rushing yards to backs and only 2 rushing tutties all season that they let up. They typically struggle against receiving backs, and that's basically Jaylen Warren. Last time was the first time Najee outscored Jaylen Warren this season, and there has been 4 times where he scored under 7 points all year. Definitely sit Najee. I know people have really high expectations on him. I have the Steelers upsetting the Jags this week, but I don't think it comes from a big Najee game. Yeah. And then I have D-Hop versus Atlanta. It's just the D-Hop in Tennessee, it just isn't working out. They signed him a 2-year, $26 million. I think that it's just – and Tannehill's banged up. They're going to have Malik Willis or Will Levis, and Mike Vrabel said that he honestly expects both of them to play. So he might play one half. Like they're doing this as a preseason game. Like you don't do that in the regular season. But He said he expects both of them to play this game. And I mean, he's been having an up and down year. D-Hop, he's averaging under 11 points in fantasy all season. And Atlanta has let the 6th fewest points up to receivers all season. So, yeah, I think D-Hop's time in Tennessee's over. And if he doesn't get traded by the deadline, he'll be done in Tennessee after this season.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's all I got today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Thank you.
Go D-backs.